things that we probably can't really do anything to scrub is the mirror. One, I don't think we should. Aslan probably knows it's there. Maybe. Like, I get the feeling that he doesn't pay a whole lot of attention.
It can't be moved at any rate, so there's not much we can do there.
There's not much we can do to shield it in a few hours anyway. So, like, we just leave that alone. And then the Phoenix egg. We have that sealed up in the Giggle Dungeon in the stone walls.
In a magic circle.
Yeah, in a magic circle. Which I don't know if that prevents any kind of scrying or whatever.
So yeah, what does magic circle prevent?
It prevents things from leaving the circle. It's an inwardly focused magic circle.
Okay, so Aslan could go in and grab this Phoenix egg.
Yeah.
If he did,
probably has to spell magic anyway.
Yeah, he was just
a magic circle.
I think there's a non-zero chance that the fact that this Phoenix egg showed up is why he came.
Of course.
He would have.
Magic items we have.
Depending on how he traveled here, that can't be true because the Phoenix was only here 2 days ago. If he traveled from Castle Avernus by Wheelhouse, he must have been underway for weeks.
The other question that I have, it's a very important one, and it's the question that we should be asking at all times. Duke Darkwood is not in the scene. Where is Duke Darkwood? Because remember, they burnt down his village or his house, killed his people, and then the last we saw of him, Edmont was having a conversation with him. Where, like, I just want to be clear where Darkwood is, so that when we have the scene where Aslan and Duke Darkwood meet,
you can't possibly know where Darkwood is, but he's not in the village at this moment.
Okay.
I mean, that's like something that we just can't prevent. We just sometimes you just have to let things hit you.
Like I think we should tell Darkwood that, like, I feel like we would, over the course of the few days, because our initial plan was, of course, like, we're going to go right after these guys. Well, now the king's here. We got to take care of this first, and then we'll go after this lighthouse.
Yes, as we all know, Duke Darkwood is so apt to listen to other people and care what they have to say.
He also doesn't make rash decisions for the most part.
Like we would have, like...
Duke Darkwood thinks he is the smartest person in the universe until the exact instant where he is proved to not be.
Yeah, I was going to say, the man who decided to wage war on the Lady of Pain doesn't make rash decisions.
Yeah, he makes... He makes incredibly bad decisions, but he's unbelievably confident in them.
He does,
so
but so far, in our experience, he's been fine.
I just want to see the scene where Aslan and Darkwood have a conversation.
Darkwood is level 20 Ranger, level 20 Cleric, level 20 Dunning-Kruger.
Right. He's still using 2E rolls, while Aslan has a 5E stat block.
He doesn't, actually. Aslan's not in the 5e material at all.
Oh, he's not! That's right!
They completely removed him from the meta.
Because, like, the story in that is that, yeah, I remember that.
Like, the actual meta plot that we're not using in this campaign is that Aslan got out, and his doing so completely pooped on Darkon.
Yep.
So that's fun. Alright, so you guys are... scrubbing magic out of the manor, but you can't do anything about the mirror, and you're going to leave the Phoenix egg both sealed up in rooms with no doors.
Victor strongly suggests that we leave a few minor magic items lying around, so it's not too suspicious. He's not going to care about those.
We don't have a, like, well, I guess I could leave, like, I could just leave what's in my workshop alone.
Okay.
Because I've got a few things in there.
Yeah, I guess Evie's just going to go through and make sure that everything is presentable to the extent that we can make it presentable, and that there's nothing in here that Aslan would take offense to.
We don't know what that could be.
Make sure there's food out for him.
What specifically did he ask for? Like, he said, remove your people. He said, remove yourselves, remove your people, and...
Let's be clear. He did not ask for anything.
Yeah.
I get... Okay, fine, Brick Road. Thank you for that quibble.
Yeah, she will tell the servants that the king will be using the manor during his stay, and we will find other accommodations throughout the town for them in the meantime.
Okay.
What did he like? But let's for real. What did he ask for? Like, what does he want?
All the living things, servants, us, any animals.
Okay.
Yeah, so Elena's going to have to be put somewhere.
She's definitely an animal.
Listen,
You can stay on the brothel.
I
They
was
take care of her.
I was going to make arrangements for all of us to find, send the servants out to get accommodations for the 6 of us in the common folks' homes until Aslan gets the hell out of here.
Yeah, that could be what you're doing right now. That's fine.
Okay.
And I mean, that's part of that is, making sure, that Edmont has a place for him and Elena.
Ekon,
Mm-hmm.
do you leave the Hallow and the other magical wards that you've placed into the manor up, or do you dismiss them? You leave them up?
He can cast his own Dispel Magics. I don't care. I'm not making his job easier.
Nice.
Fair enough.
Yeah, because we've got several like just arcane like defenses in place. We've
Yeah,
got
the mirror room especially.
Yeah, the mirror room has like actual booby traps, like physical booby traps and stuff.
He walks in and like a paint bucket swings down.
Well, more like more like an explosion will happen. But yeah, sure, that's the high level equivalent of a paint bucket, right?
A couple of hours as these preparations are underway, there is a commotion near to the church.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get my dark wit scene. I'm gonna mute my microphone so I can giggle.
Who is on the scene to investigate what has happened?
Victor will go.
Edmont's probably still arranging for.
Well, this can happen concurrently with all of that. This is
Okay.
an interruption
Yeah,
of that.
Edmont will be there.
Is anybody not going to be in this scene? I'll put it that way. Does anybody else have anything else they'd rather be doing?
I guess we're all going to go see.
Yeah.
It's going to be a beautiful train wreck, whatever it is.
There's some arguing amongst the townsfolk at the gate. There's not a lot of room for a crowd to gather here because there's a wheelhouse sitting right in the middle of the square. But the crowd is kind of pressed in near to the walls, and the gardens in front of all of the buildings of the square are just ruined. Everything along the right-hand side of the road coming in from the Knot Gate is just completely trashed because this wheelhouse is too wide for the street that it came down. The nature of the argument seems to be that a sound of blasting, perhaps a rock crumbling apart or something being thrown with great impact, was heard from the back of the church, followed by a very abrupt scream. And people want to know what's going on, and the two little flea men are not allowing anybody inside, and there's a lot of argument about whether they even have the authority to deny them entry into their own church. And this is the scene when you all arrive.
Jeannie's gonna march over to the people, and then she's going to usher them away. Please disperse.
Give me a persuasion check.
Sure.
Victor's going to walk around the outside looking through the windows.
That is a 18.
18? Okay. So you calm the crowd down and try to get them to disperse now that you're here to put a lid on the situation. Victor, you're going around to check the windows?
Yeah, he's going to go look through the windows and see if he can see anything.
Okay.
Some of them were broken.
But yeah, some of them don't have panes in them anymore. They have not been
Should be
replaced
easy
yet.
to see inside.
Okay. Victor, coming around the back of the church, because that's exactly your thought. Like, if there were stained glass windows in place, you probably wouldn't be able to get a good look inside. However, as you come around and look through, there's not broken panes left. They would have been removed at that point. But you can't see inside. You can see the empty pane. You can see where the glass would go, and the windows they don't open even if they were in place. But when you try to focus your eyes on the inside of the church and see what's happening in there, you just find that you can't. And this is true for the second pane as you come around the other side of the church, and the same thing at the other window that had been broken.
Well, that's concerning. He'll go let the others know.
Okay. The Fleamen don't seem to be treating the 6 of you with any greater amount of respect than they were just treating the rabble a moment ago. They simply declared to you that whatever is happening in the building is none of your business, and they're not going to allow you inside.
Does His Grace have an issue with these current accommodations?
One of them laughs sarcastically. Says, if His Grace does, he'll be sure to let you know.
Did anyone sneak inside while you were guarding it?
Not that they saw.
And you're sure no one else got inside? Aslan seems like he'd be very upset with the two of you if he was disturbed in there.
They would agree with that. That sounds like a fair statement. But neither of them nor any of the townsfolk saw this door open since Aslan went in.
Mm-hmm.
Just about the time that Victor comes back from the other side of the building, as you guys are discussing this with the Fleamen, the door does open. And Aslan is carrying a boy's broken body, a teenage kid from the town, by the scruff of his neck, unceremoniously chucks him forth onto the cobbles, looks at his little Fleamen. Redouble our efforts and make sure we are not disturbed. Steps back inside and the door closes again.
Grins at the Fleamen.
That grin? Like he threw a dead body. A dead body?
Dead body.
Very dead body.
Bones broken. Somebody give me a medicine check.
Sure.
Probably snuck in through the back windows or broken out.
That's a medicine of 26.
I'll tell you this for nothing, Ekon. You would not be surprised if you were to look inside this building and find a crack in one of the stone walls with a blood stain. This man looks like he died from a hard impact with a surface like that.
Man or child?
Teenager. 15, 16 maybe.
Okay. So, by medieval serf standards, an adult.
But, 15-year-olds are still really dumb.
Right, yeah.
Orson looks very, very concerned about this situation. He's not saying anything.
He's the only one. You ain't the only one, bud.
Victor will tell the Fleamen that maybe one of them should go guard the backside of the church as well.
Fleamen look back at Victor and pokes the dead man with his boot. Says, maybe one of you should see about cleaning this up.
If you two would do your job, we wouldn't have to, would we?
Victor. Evie shakes her head.
Evie.
Ekon will take the boy's body.
Uh-huh.
As Ekon is taking the body away, give me a charisma saving throw.
From Ekon?
No, from Evie.
Oh, okay.
I got 21.
21? Here's what happened.
Uh-huh.
A couple of months ago, we played a session, which I was like, wow, that's almost certainly Evie's worst session ever in terms of emotional turmoil. But then I challenged myself and said, no, I can do better than that. Evie, Victor's getting into an argument with these just insufferable Fleamen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they provably, demonstrably were doing a bad job of guarding this entrance because somebody got in. And not only do they not seem to care that one of your people has died as a result of this, they also don't seem to care about doing a better job guarding the place. Like, they're not taking Victor's advice. And in fact, they're being very flippant about it. And for a moment, you think, like, I could step in here, I could fix this situation, I could tell these people what's what, and then at the last moment you catch yourself. Wait a minute. So you can make the decision on whether to interject or not.
Okay, so Evie has become a time bomb. It's only a matter of time before she fails one of these charisma saves.
You're going to have to make a charisma save every time you state an action that kind of falls in line with Aslan being king. Every fiber of Evie's being is telling her to contramand this king. And the wheelhouse is still spewing forth mist.
Takes a deep breath.
None of us could see that mist.
Says,
No, only Evie.
okay. Evie tells the fleeman, I will post some of my own guardsmen around rear. Would that be acceptable to you? Or would this interfere with the king's business?
One of the fleaman chuckles to himself. The other one looks upset, gets elbowed in the side. The upset one fishes a few coins out of his pocket and drops into the hands of the others. He says, he thought you'd hold out until dinner before you posted men back there. I thought you were smarter than that, as he pockets the coins.
Not hearing a no.
You didn't hear, they didn't say no. They were taking bets on whether or not you could appropriately post guards on your own buildings while the king was in town.
So it sounds like posting guards around would just end up with more dead people.
Where does Ekon take the body?
Do I recognize the kid?
Probably recognize him as one of the laborers in the village. He was nobody special.
Mm-hmm.
You could spend the time and find out.
Family in the village?
No.
Okay. Well, then I'll just take him to the graveyard.
Okay. Does anybody else do anything in the remaining interim of time that Aslan had given you, the remainder of the 6 hours?
Victor is just going to secure himself housing at the brothel.
Okay. Do you require residence for your entire family there? Because they could make accommodations available to you. These are exceptional times.
It'd be worse than whoever else wants to. Not sure how comfortable the others are at staying in a brothel.
I'm fine with it. It's just a room.
Yeah, there's no more comfortable place in the town. Okay.
Well,
ours, but
you all take...
no.
Of note, the villagers are not exactly tripping over themselves, making themselves available to you. Like, nobody has volunteered a room to put any of you or your serving people up. But when asked, the ladies, the madams at the brothel, do accept. Aslan emerges. Almost certainly 6 hours to the moment from the church. He proclaims loudly that he will speak to the assemblage of the villagers. And any of you that are around, it becomes your job to get the citizenry to a place where they can receive his words. Whether that be here in front of this wheelhouse or somewhere else is up to you.
Is there a good place to do that?
I mean,
this is the town square.
He's parked his...
Yeah, this is a parking lot now.
Yeah, I assume he's just going to say his thing wherever he's standing and everyone else just has to hear it.
Okay.
You could suggest that he do it from the entrance to the manor.
Victor could make that suggestion.
No, Victor's not in a position to make that suggestion. That's Evie's job.
No, I think he wants to say it right here. I'm not going to make that suggestion.
Okay.
So we'll just make sure the people are gathered around.
So you get the citizenry together. Mm-hmm. Men, women, children. Especially articulate dogs. Like Edmont.
That's a werewolf joke. I get it.
Yeah, you like that?
That was good. Good job, Rickard.
Thank you. Aslan says, for the duration of our stay in this village, we will require a group of capable serving people to see to our needs. My preference is for youth, and my preference is for quiet. I will have 3 boys and 3 girls of the village to come to the manor to see to my needs, to do what tasks require to be done. Then he begins scanning over the crowd. And one by one, he points a finger at young men and women in the village. And you see much trepidation in the eyes of mothers and fathers as their 12-year-old son is put forward to the king. To your side, a 13-year-old girl who works the fields is put forward. As the 5th child comes forward, Evelyn turns to, I'm going to assume Evie would be standing closest to him of you 6.
Mm-hmm.
I was under the impression that there was a daughter of House Veritas of appropriate age. I do not see her here.
He spends a great deal of time out in the wilderness these days, Your Grace.
He looks incensed. Was she not informed of Her Majesty's arrival?
Unfortunately, sometimes we have difficulty locating her in short notice, Your Grace.
He turns
I apologize.
and faces one of the flea men. The flea man... I guess we're going with that. That's what we're calling these guys.
I mean, that's the first thing that popped into my head, so...
That's what they are. Let's be real.
They now have the racial trait of the hair gone.
Looks towards what the flea man looks like. All the color drains out of his face immediately. This is the man who brought you the missive a few days before, and who played the bugle just outside. And he kind of stammers out that no, he gave word. He was sent forth. He delivered the missive. Evelyn turns back to Evie. She will be found. She will be brought to my manor as swiftly as can be accommodated. Then he turns to the other 5 children. Follow me. And he begins walking up the street towards the manor. What's next?
Evie looks very pale after he's gone.
I think...
Ekon.
Mm-hmm.
You have the highest wisdom of anybody else other than Evie, right?
Oh, yeah.
Give me a wisdom check.
It's 14.
14?
Great wisdom.
+5.
Are you
Can
giving
he
Ekon Flash of
benefit?
Genius?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, that's
If
fine.
If he can take benefit of it, yeah. So 19.
Ekon, you become acutely aware that the king just demanded servants from the group, demanded Evie's sister by name, taking the children towards the manor. You become acutely aware that everybody just watched Evie see that, and then her face went completely pale.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows that Evie does not want Tenny serving the king. Meanwhile, 5 families from the village have had to send their own children to serve the king. And over the course of the next few moments, Aslan, there's a funny moment when he gets to the front door and can't enter and has to dispel the ward.
Like he's gonna have to dispel arcane locks in several rooms.
He's gonna spend a whole Tuesday just stubbing his toe on.
Listen, there's a Does a high-level spellcaster and an artificer live in this house? It's probably booby trapped. Like, magically.
After the king passes, the two fleamen go forward and begin making the wheelhouse ready to... It's much too narrow of a road to drive it across this bridge and get it all the way over to the manor house. But it looks like they're going to try to stuff the thing as close as they can possibly get it. Meanwhile, the people are inundating Evie and Ekon, especially with questions of what is to come of the children that just went with the king into the manor. What's he going to do to them? What's he going to make them do? Are they going to... Is this safe? Should they be concerned?
Well, we haven't seen any indication that he treats his servants poorly.
If that's the case, why did you send Tenny away?
We didn't know he was going to ask for Tenny. Jeannie's trying to cover for Evie because she's, I guess, shaken. She appears visibly shaken. Jeannie doesn't have any blood to drain out of her face.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Evie's going to try to compose herself.
Okay. Evie, give me a charisma saving throw.
Okay. 20.
Okay. You may decide whether or not it is a good idea to follow Aslan's command. You are not compelled one way or the other by the dark powers. But you have been commanded to deliver your sister to him.
All right. I am going to, I guess, step into the cathedral. Do I see what happened in there? Can I see in there anymore?
Yes. See just fine. And yeah, you find evidence of where it looks like a man was thrown with great force against one of the stone walls in the back. There's hair and blood a good 8-9 feet up the wall.
Is there any indication of what Aslan was doing in here?
None.
Okay.
Like, no magical residues, no, just like...
No more so than usual. I mean, there's some, because he was using magic to cloak the inside of the place from being seen from the outside.
Yeah.
But other than that, as far as you can tell, he was just sitting quietly for a few hours.
Okay. Evie is going to cast Augury.
Okay.
Weal or woe if I allow Tenny to serve Aslan Rex in this capacity.
Make a charisma saving throw. Does anybody else in the party know the augury spell specifically? Or is Evie the only one? You do?
I got 27.
27. Okay. Ekon, give me an Arcana check.
You got it.
What does Evie do when she casts augury? Like, what are the physical components?
She has little tokens of silverwood that have symbols on them that represent certain outcomes, and then she puts a dagger in the middle and spins it, and whatever the dagger points at is the answer, basically.
Okay.
That's a 15 on Arcana.
Take a +5 for a 20.
Apparently that's a 20 on Arcana.
So, Ekon, you were also learned on how to read these tokens and trinkets that Evie casts. How much stock Ekon puts into them is up to you, but you can tell that the augury should read weal and woe. It's indeterminate.
Mm-hmm.
But watching Evie's face for a moment, Evie, you can decide whether to read that or whether you can read only woe. It's up to you.
So the actual answer it gave was...
The actual answer was weal and woe. But there's something pulling you that wants you kind of want to believe that it only shows woe.
All right, she will gather the family together and say, what do you guys think? Can we trust Tenny with this? This seems... I don't know what he would do if we defy him. But putting Tenny in this situation...
I think if we defy him, he's going to kill everybody here and level the town. Listen, I'm all for being a contrarian, but you gotta draw the line somewhere.
I feel like that should be Victor's ideal.
I'm all for being a contrarian, but I mean, my magic isn't telling me it's definitely bad, but Evie definitely has a bad feeling.
It is a dangerous situation to be sure, but I don't see that we have much choice unless we want to incur his wrath.
Why does he want Tinny? Is it just because she's of an appropriate age and to show dominance over us, or is it?
That could very well be it. That very well could be the reason.
Does he want to, like, I don't know, crack her open? Like, we're having this conversation in the church.
Yeah,
right?
I went into the church to get away from the prying eyes of people
Like,
who are
Well,
looking at Evie and drawing conclusions.
It's going to be a brief conversation then, because if you guys are just kind of standing in the church discussing this, the church is going to start filling up with concerned people.
Yeah.
Thinking that there's about to be an address of some kind. So yeah, after a few moments of conversation, you're going to be very easily overheard. And from the inside of the church, it becomes very easy to see how somebody might have snuck in through one of the gaping open windows from the outside.
It sounds like the party is mostly in favor of we just have to do this.
Or not find Tenny. Let him. Well,
mean,
it's the same as dispelling the wards.
If we don't find him, he's gonna find her, and he may not be gentle.
Agreed. I think I can be the. I think I might be the most qualified to locate our cousin.
You would be able to find her with a survival or a nature check, one of the two.
Yeah, I've got both, I think. Or just survival, but yeah.
One of you, like, scried her while she was out in the woods, didn't you? Like, with a...
Yeah, I did.
Okay. And she's been kind of, like, escaping out for... This is not a new development. This is something that's been going on for a while. I would say that probably, Edmont, you have a good idea of a couple of bolt holes to check. Like, you have a couple of places where
Edmont has specifically done this kind of thing in the past, where he's tailed her without her knowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows where to find her.
So yeah, with a successful, I will allow either a survivor or nature check for this.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I guess I'll send Edmont out to go find Tenny.
do you mind?
Ask the people that my sister will be going to serve Aslan Rex.
Do you mind if I go with you, Edmont? Or would you rather go alone?
If you can keep up.
Yeah, I could probably outrun you, to be honest.
That's a bold statement.
Over a short period, yeah, I could.
Well, every time Edmont goes to pass her, she just vortex and warps away.
Yeah, I just vortex 90 feet behind me. Genie's like life philosophy is if you're not winning, you're not cheating hard enough.
Edmont, go ahead and give me that check. Evie or Genie is helping, so you can make this check at advantage, either survival or nature.
Thing.
Take a D4 for guidance because I have that now.
Cool.
15 levels late.
Yep. Plus 7 and a D4. Advantage. 15. Plus the D4 makes it a 19.
Okay. Yeah, you find Tenny at one of her bolt holes an hour or so away from the village out in the wilderness. She's upset that because like she was literally just told that she was supposed to leave because it was too dangerous. Now she's coming back. She's like, let me guess. My sister decided it would be a great honor to serve the king.
Genie tells her, no, it's not. We're actually incredibly scared for you. And like Genie looks like uncharacteristically serious at Tenny.
What?
She says,
Edmont. What is
Edmont.
his...
Edmont looks more worried than he's been ever since he's arrived here.
Okay.
like we've explained to Tenny like what he like he is. Like we did that before we sent her off. He's like our big fear is that like
if we don't bring you back, he's going to send his own people, and who knows what the hell's gonna. We don't know how gentle he'll be about it. They'll be about it.
And then Jeannie hands her the sending stone and says, please do not ditch this. Please call for help if you need it.
Well, when she sees how upset the two of you are, and when you put the words in like that order, is he planning to kill these serving children? Do I have to? Is my sister saying that I have to die for her village?
No. We don't know what he's planning.
But he did a fortune-telling spell that suggested that it might not be great, but it's not going to be terrible.
Right. So, like, we'll say, like, we've done, you know, like we've done some preliminary stuff, and like I said, just our big fear is that like if we don't produce you, he's going to come looking for you, and they're not going to be gentle.
One of you give me a persuasion check.
What you got? McDohl?
Let's find out.
I got a +3.
You have way better than I do about that.
All right. Can I have the can I have the bit of the help action from McDohl?
Yep, you can take that.
Okay.
Because the two of you are being very open and very concerned.
All right. That is a 20.
Okay. You see almost a look of like duty on Tenny's face that you've never noticed before. Like she's right at the age where if you guys were still in Brennanine, the crackdown would be starting at this point. That it's time for her to stop crying about it, to fall in line. She's got duties to her family. And you can tell that she's about to start fighting and arguing with you about it. And Edmont, there's a few moments where you think you're going to have to chase her through the woods. At the end of it, though, she quietly says, if I agree to serve the king, she asks if the two of you will agree to get her sister off her back.
You have my undying word.
Jeannie sighs at that, and she says, like, she's basically been letting you do what you want. But if there's something you really want, Tenny, I will fight for you. I will speak up on your behalf.
So Tenny's perspective here, and remember, her perspective is that of a 12-year-old girl.
Right.
From her perspective, she's been doing everything that was asked of her and is constantly being bowled over by the people in charge. Standard middle school pouty nonsense.
Right.
What she's saying here is, if I agree to this, then it's time for my sister to see me as an adult and stop treating me like a kid. Again, Disney Channel pouty nonsense.
Well, the thing is I feel like we've already been kind of doing that. Jeannie will basically explain to her that we've been giving her the freedom to go out and do this in preparation for that. So if you do this, then yeah, I'll vouch for that.
So Jeannie and Edmont agree to go to bat for her next time she throws a hissy fit.
Agreed.
Okay.
And little cousin, let me that magic that stone that she gave it, you need to use it if your life is in danger. You need to tell me immediately, and I will be there.
She says that if you and Evie, specifically meaning Edmont and Evie, thought Aslan posed a threat and were willing to stand against them, you would already be doing it. And she seems very confident in herself when she says that. If Aslan's the bad guy, you guys are already not doing anything about it.
Jeannie will tell him, she'll explain, she'll look at her hands and she'll say, Aslan sold me to the lady over in the thing. Like, he's the one directly responsible for my body being the way it is. So we just don't want.
We don't want the same kind of thing to happen to you. There's
not a good answer here, Tinny. There's not. He is, and believe me when I say this, because, I wish this wasn't the case, but if we fight him,
we will lose.
If we fight him straight up,
we will lose badly.
Yeah.
Ekon, Evie, and Victor. After you take your evening meal, your companions are still out in the woods, presumably bringing Tenny back home. But who knows? Maybe they got eaten by werewolves. Impossible to say. You guys have another fire to put out. This one's a metaphorical fire, though, so better than other fires that you've been dealing with recently. Ekon, word reaches you first that the village's pub is very badly burned and damaged. So a lot of the stores and material that were able to be saved have been brought out and are kind of just, for now, being stored on pallets and in stacks and things, just impromptu, kind of in the side garden of the pub until such a time as it can be repaired and cleared away. So I'm talking like barrels of wine and things that were in ale that were able to be saved. And kind of a little party has sprung up down there. Kind of a, you know what? Those of us who are still standing, we have all this ale here. We've worked hard all day on repairing this house and getting preparations ready to receive the king. So even though it's kind of spilled out into the streets near to this gate, the pub is kind of open for business. And the word that reaches you is that there is a very drunken man loudly proclaiming that Evelyn Veritas has made a deal with Count Strad van Zarovic. These words have been used many times, very clearly. This guy has been shown the exit to the party. He's kind of been chucked out. But he's proclaiming to every doom and gloom to anybody who will listen, because as soon as Aslan finds out that you all have cut a deal with Strahd, Aslan is going to be incensed. So that's the word that reaches Ekon.
Claims that we've done that.
A drunkard in the village.
Victor will go try and find this drunkard.
Now, he's easy enough to find. A couple of the men at and around the scene out by the gate have kind of built up a perimeter to make sure he doesn't get back in, so to speak.
Yeah, Victor will grab him by the scruff of his neck and drag him into a building.
Drag him into which building?
Whichever one. Which one's closest?
One of these houses, probably.
Then yeah, he will drag him towards one of the houses.
But Ekon and Evie, as Victor snatches this guy up, and as he's being dragged away, he's still calling out his rumors.
I think Victor's got a handle on it.
Okay.
Well, Evie will go with him. She doesn't want Victor to kill the man.
Is Ekon joining the two of them, or just leaving it alone? So you drag him towards this house, and this must just be one of the family's houses, right, in the town?
Yeah. Victor will knock politely on the door.
The family inside is bewildered, but like a lot of bewildering things are happening these days. So you drag this man into their house. Evie and Ekon, the two like most important people in the village, follow in behind you.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's babbling drunkenly about how you have doomed us all by making a deal with Count Strahd von Zarovic.
Where did you hear such nonsense?
And he just blubbers out, it's true, isn't it? It's true. Your denials confirm it.
Who is spreading these rumors?
You're asking him who spread the rumors?
Yeah, where did he hear this? Does he even know? Or is it just something he made up?
It's something he heard. It's something... actually, make an insight check.
All of us, or just Evie?
Just Evie, because she's the one who asked the pointed question.
I got a really high number.
Okay.
That's gonna be... Yeah, my insight's really good. That's a 31.
The man, when pointedly asked who he received the information from, he seems very confused. Like he's not sure where he heard it from. When you ask him, is this just something you made up? You see the look on his face turn. He sobers up a little bit, for one thing. And you see the look on his face change more towards fear. He tells you that he could never make up anything about Count Strahd that is more vicious and horrible than the truth.
Word of Count Strahd von Zarovic has reached my ear. He is a monster. I have no business with him. You should not spread such ridiculous rumors. If the king were to hear such nonsense and believe it, it would be very difficult to assuage him.
And he returns back to his blubbering. He really likes this phrase, your denials confirm it. And it becomes clear that, yeah, if you just release this guy, he's going to continue blubbering to whoever who will listen.
Victor will ask the owners of the house if they have a closet and a chair.
To put this man in.
Yes, I would like to constrain this man in your closet until he is sober.
There must be somewhere else we can take him besides just throw him in someone's closet.
Dragging him through the street any further is only going to cause more people to hear his accusations.
Not if you gag him.
Yes, but then people will see us marching a gagged man through the street, and that's going to raise even more questions.
Yeah, they can make a closet available to you. They have a storage space underneath some floorboards in the back of the house that they can empty out. There's an old steamer trunk in there if you have use of it.
I think that would be wonderful.
So you stuff this. Do you gag him and tie him up or what?
Well, first he's gonna give the man a glass of water. I mean, if he yells really loud, is anybody gonna be able to hear him outside?
Yeah.
Okay.
If he starts screaming, people will hear it.
Yeah, well, let the man have some water first, and then gag him and tie his hands up. And does Victor have any idea how long it takes somebody to sober up?
A couple hours, perhaps. Yeah. So your plan is to restrain him, shove him down onto these floorboards, let him sleep it off.
Basically, yeah.
This seems very concerning to this random family.
Yeah,
but they don't.
I mean, I don't want to do this here.
Well, Victor will ask the family if they're okay with this, and then he will ask, if they wish for compensation for the trouble.
They will serve at the Duchess's pleasure. If they're told to do this, then they'll do it.
Like, do they want any compensation for it?
I mean, that's up to you guys.
Victor is willing to offer them compensation if they speak up and say they want it.
Well, they're not going to speak up because they're your subjects.
Give him a gold. Jeez, man. Don't be stingy.
No, yeah, if they don't say anything, he'll give him 2 gold.
It's a lot of money to a peasant.
But given how much he worked and how little he earned, he's well aware.
Okay. Then yeah, he insists that he will keep the matter quiet until such a time as they're told otherwise. And he snaps his fingers at one of his sons, and his son pulls a table with a tablecloth and a bowl of fruit on it, scrapes it over on top of the floorboards. They assure you that the man will not get loose.
Please make sure you check on him so that he doesn't accidentally die.
We appreciate your assistance in this matter. If the king were to hear this babbled nonsense, it would make things difficult for the rest of the village.
They tell you that they don't even know who this Count Strahd is. They have...
He's an old enemy of the king. He would not be pleased to hear rumors that we were in league with him.
Yeah, they insist that enemies of the king are not welcome under their roof.
Indeed.
What's next for the three of you for the rest of the night?
I think Victor's going to keep an eye on the bar to make sure nobody else starts spouting off nonsense.
Oh, now that the rumors are out, it is not difficult to find more conversations. Who is this Count Strahd? Oh, an old enemy of the king's. Perhaps, I think I heard once that they fought a war together. Could there be spies of Count Strahd among us? Has Count Strahd himself come? Perhaps there is some truth to it. There's a lot of wealth and success here in the duchy, and especially in the village. Maybe the whole village is the product of the Duchess making a deal with Count Strahd. Or maybe the success of the village is at the behest of the Duchess making a deal with King Aslan against Count Strahd. And 1,000 different variations on all of the above. By the end of tonight, everybody in this village will know who Count Strahd is.
But I'm stupid enough to mention that to Aslan.
That's an excellent question.
Victor may want to spread some rumors about what Aslan's done to other allies of Count Strahd before in the towns they lived in.
Evie.
Yes.
Give me a charisma saving throw. That's a fun noise. Really enjoyed that.
26.
Okay.
Thank God I have a good charisma save.
Something
the whole
tells
campaign
you,
for that to matter.
as you watch the mists continue to bellow forth from the carriage house parked right in the middle of your village, there's a part of you that's like, you know what? I did make a deal with Count Strahd. And Strahd is almost certainly the more powerful of the two, and Aslan doesn't know about it. There's a moment where you're like, I should lean into this. But then your head clears, and you can decide what to do about it.
No, that would be a terrible idea. Well, for one, I mean, if Aslan were to truth zone Evie, she would say that she has no intention of doing anything to serve Strahd von Zarevich. He's a monster and a cruel master to his people. She would have no business with him. And that's the truth.
As opposed to Aslan, who is...
Until today, Aslan had kind of never done anything to us.
He sold me to
yeah, you're right. Uh-huh. He did do that. You're right. Yeah, I think Evie's just kind of staked out in the cathedral all night, just
Lesbian
pacing.
Dr. Frankenstein.
Okay. Do Victor and Ekon retire to the brothel?
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah.
And then a few hours before dawn, Jeannie and Edmont return and deliver Tenny to the manor house. One of the other serving children inside admits her into the door. He's already dressed in raiment more befitting a king's servant than... I guess he was mucking out the stables or something before. And Tenny enters the manor. The door closes behind her. And this seems like an excellent place to take a 15-minute break.